everybody, my name is Deirdre and I work in Offaly Libraries. And today for Earth Week I'm going to Kilcormac to talk to Pat Howley, a local beekeeper in the area. Did you know that Ireland have 99 different bee species, 1 honeybee, 21 bumblebees and 77 types of solitary bee? But unfortunately Ireland's wild bees are dying out and it's up to us to become more bee friendly. I hope you enjoy listening to Pat as much as I enjoyed chatting him. So I'm out here now in Kilcormac with Pat Howley, a local beekeeper. Thanks very much for meeting us, Pat. So Pat, how did you become interested in beekeeping?
Well, I was always interested in bees, but I just didn't know anything about them. So I used to watch wild hives. There was a lot of wild hives around here. I used to watch them for years, but I never knew what was going on in the hive. So I decided I'd go and do a course. I'd done a course with Offaly beekeepers in Tullamore over Christmas about 16, maybe 18 years ago. And then I learned a little bit about them and I started to keep bees. And I met a very interesting beekeeper who's probably one of the best beekeepers in the country, John Somerville. And I sort of went under his wing for about 3 years, learned a huge amount from him. So that's really how I got interested in bees.
Oh, very good. And there's a large decline in bee numbers at the moment and honeybees. Why are bees important for the environment?
Well, they're hugely important for the environment because of pollination. If you look around here, there's a few apple trees. If you didn't have bees, the apples need to be pollinated. There's a huge amount of different crops need to be pollinated.
And how many bees would be in a typical beehive?
It depends on the summer and the winter. But in the winter, in a big hive, when they're at full work, you could have up to 60,000 bees.
And would you have names on all of them?
Every one of them. I know them all personally. You know.
And how many jars of honey would you get out of a hive?
Depends on the weather. Depends on the summer. Depends on temperature. There's a huge amount of stuff. Just because you see a white thorn hedge in full bloom doesn't mean that there's nectar flowing. The temperature for that has to be perfect. And it's the same with clover. You see clover in the fields. Just because there's a huge amount of flowers there doesn't actually mean that they're giving off nectar. The temperature has to be perfect. So once that temperature is right, they'll give off nectar. And
Pat, the last question, what can we do to help the bees?
Well, anyone that's interested in bees, I'd say to them to join your local beekeepers. Have a look at the websites there. There's a Federation of Irish Beekeepers. There's a great group now around Tullamore there, the Black Bees. John Somerville is involved with it there, and they have a huge amount of information. And if you have the ability and the facilities to keep a hive of bees or keep 2 hives of bees, then it's really worthwhile. It's a really interesting way. It's very interesting. It's not just interesting, it's absolutely fascinating if you're interested in it.
Yeah.
And you're doing a huge amount for nature.
The knowledge is important, isn't it? Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome.